Hello everyone, this is Mike Matusevich from the Morphin Network here at the Pasadena Convention Center for Power Morphicon 2024, and with me is the legendary villain himself, Kerrigan Mahan, also known as Goldar, the one and only. How are you doing?
Oh, I can't complain. It's Sunday and this weekend is coming to a close.
Have you been enjoying this convention so far?
Oh yeah, I love Power Morphicon. I love all the conventions. If they're busy. I mean, if they're not busy, it's a headache. But this is good. People are fun. They're happy. It's a gas.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I know that Goldar had multiple different voices that he did, all played by you. So I know you were playing around a little bit with his voice, but how did you get settled on the voice that we ended up with?
Well, it's a good question. There really weren't, I hate to, correct you, but there was one voice in the beginning, about the first 17 episodes, and the only reason that voice changed was Tony Oliver, the producer, thought that Goldar wasn't going to be much of a role.
Yeah.
So I didn't really commit myself to much of a voice. I just threw something at it. And then in, I think, episode 17, Evil is the new something.
Green with Evil?
Green with Evil. And he said, wow, this role's gotten big. And I said, okay. He said, you got to do something so you can record for long periods. So I spent the better part of an hour figuring out the placement, so the voice became substantially a bigger sound, yet much less problematic for my vocal cords.
Right. Yeah, no, because I remember hearing that you would have like 3-hour sessions, like several days a week for the audio recording. So like I can imagine that would be a great toll on your voice.
Actually, my rule was 45 minutes. There were times that I could go past that. My vocal cords told me what I could get away with. But for the most part, it was a 45-minute north or south of that. Some days I could only comfortably do 35 minutes because I had other jobs.
Right.
So I never walked out of the studio with a thrashed voice ever. And that's kind of how long I could sustain that voice without a problem.
Right. Speaking of other jobs, you also voiced Jeb, the talking dog, on VR Troopers, which at the time was my most favorite show. And so, like, given the fact that you were doing VR Troopers concurrently with Power Rangers, what was scheduling like, both as an actor and a voice actor, going between both roles?
Well, you probably have better answers to that than I do. I don't recall there ever being a scheduling problem, and I actually don't recall ever necessarily doing Goldar and then subsequently doing VR Troopers, but I may well have done both of them in the same session. It really mattered not. Whatever, scheduling wise, there was never a problem whatsoever. Usually though, I believe when I came up to Valencia, I was either scheduled to do VR Troopers or I was scheduled to do Power Rangers. But the scheduling would have been done by Scott, the wonderful and unfortunately late Scott Page Pagter. So, depending on what the schedule was, I would record whichever character, and of course they had absolutely nothing to do with each other. But I will say Jeb was a lot of fun. And you're asking the questions, but I would ask, how did I come up with that voice? And I just decided, wow, that Jack Nicholson would be great coming out of this dog's mouth. And of course, the producers said, Yeah, I think we can't do that because of Jack. He'll sue us. I said, Jack's not watching VR Troopers. He's not going to sue you. So a week later, they said, you know what? Let's see what happens, and it was fine. We were fine.
Well, I'm glad he wasn't watching it because I was, and I love that show.
You know what? I think if Jack had seen it, it would have cracked him up bad. So I don't think there would have been any suit involved.
Okay, I'm glad to hear. So in Power Rangers Zeo, Goldar and Rito had a very interesting turn for their characters. Was there any like directional change that we were given in order to do Goldar in that part of his life?
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough because you're going back, and my memory is not serving. I know it was a very interesting storyline change, and I can't even tell you exactly what happened here. Who is this Rito character? I remember asking all kinds of questions initially, going, "Good Lord! Now you're telling me I'm saddling up with Bob Pappenbrook? Really? Oh, okay, but I don't have the answers for you on that."
Okay. What did it feel like when you were asked to play Magna Defender? I know you kind of used a similar voice to Jeb for Magna Defender.
No. Dead wrong. No. Jeb was Jack Nicholson. Magna Defender came from a Clint Eastwood base, and I can promise you Clint Eastwood and Jack Nicholson don't sound anything at all
because they're
alike.
both very whispery, so
Well,
that's how I remember
no. Now I'm going to do it. Sorry. Yeah, I got to correct a fan at this point. Jeb was Jack, and Jack is, let me get a line here, virtual reality's a gas. Magna was just follow the lights of Orion. So that's whispery, but Jeb had nothing to do with this. Am I ruining your interview?
Oh, no, you're not. Actually, I find it very enlightening because I'm starting to hear the difference now.
Night and day.
Yeah. No, I really hate that both shows were taken off of Netflix. Now I just want to like rewatch both shows.
Now you're making me think, I better rewatch these too. Maybe it wasn't what I remember.
No, but it's cool knowing that, though Magna Defender was definitely inspired by Clint Eastwood because he did have that sort of like strange, the stranger vibe to him, from those old westerns. I really love that.
And that's kind of what his base. I mean, I just thought, I looked at the character and I said to Scott, "What do you think about kind of a me meets Clint Eastwood?" And he said, "Yes, right on." So we started, and we were very happy with how it was sounding. And people want me sometimes to do Magna here in these places, and it doesn't work because the key to making that work is getting right on top of the microphone. We can't do that here. I got to bring people in. It's right in their ear. That's not how it works. So, but Goldar, I can of course do. That's easy. The engineer has to be very careful when we do Goldar of the recording levels, right?
All right. So before we close out, is there any social media platforms you would like the fans to follow you on?
I have and pride myself on having absolutely zero social media. Nothing. You want me? You come and see me. And I talk to you. No social media. Now, there are those that are trying to talk me into social media. That's not to say that at some point I might consider doing some social media. But there's absolutely no social media. You cannot get to me unless you come and see me. Just like the old days.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, this is Mike Matusevich here with Kerrigan Mahan. We're here at Power Morphicon. We hope you're really enjoying your stay here, and we hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Not half bad.